Ganse. My name is Lisa Muswagon, and I am from the Pimichigamak Cree Nation, also known as Cross Lake, Manitoba. My community is located in northern Manitoba, and it's about 800 kilometers north of Winnipeg, for those who don't know. This is my hand drum, and it was a gift that was given to me quite some time ago in my teens by my father. And it was a gift given to me actually during Christmas. And it was a time in my life where it became a very important tool to get me through my teenagehood, so to speak. Throughout time, I was able to make songs and learn about this tool that my dad had given to me. And this tool actually got me through some of the toughest times of my life. So this is my drum, and I'm here to share it with you and to share my album called Buffalo and Rabbits. I'll be singing a couple of songs out of the album to share with you and to tell you the story about the people in my community in Pimichigamak. Now, there's what's called a round dance, and it's a type of dance that our Cree relatives do in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but in northern Manitoba, we don't round dance anymore. At some point, our round dance turned into a square dance. Now everybody jigs and doesn't do the culture anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But in all seriousness, some of our culture started fading in our communities, and part of it was the round dance. Now, a long time ago, I'm going to get into my legend of Buffalo and Rabbits. I'm going to start getting into the music. There was a Wapos. Wapos in my language means rabbit, and my language is Cree. Now, Wapos, a long time ago, Wapos wanted to share the story of the round dance. She received a message from one of her relatives who told her to come seek the story of the round dance that was lost long ago in Pimichigamak. And so what she did was she went on a journey, and she journeyed far away from her homelands to retrieve the story. Now, before she left on this journey, she gathered her siblings and her mother and her father and her relatives, and she gathered them all together to tell them that she'd be taking this journey far away, somewhere where she's never been before. But through guidance and prayer, she would get there. And so she gathered them all together in front, and she sat them down, and she said, I'm going to be going on a journey far away, she told her little brothers and sisters. And they asked her, well, where is it that you're going? And she said, it's going to be a new place that we've never seen before, but I'll be sure to tell you when I get back. And then so they asked her, well, why are you going? And she said, because I'm going to go get the story of the round dance. It's a story that we lost long ago. And so I want to bring it back to our community so we could all dance together again. And so they said, well, what is the round dance? So she says, Yahweh, 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 ahead, you can clap at home. No, I'm just joking, but that is my first song, and that was about Rabbit telling her family that she was going on a journey. Now, before she goes on the next, before I start my next song, I'll tell you a little bit more of the story of what happened to Wapos. So after she shared it, they all gathered, they all encouraged her, and they celebrated together. But then as the time was coming near, her mother and father wanted to prepare her for her trip because she would be away from home. Like I said, it'd be somewhere that she's never been before, right? And so they had to prepare her and encourage her. And so during that time, they gave her some teachings. They told her what to do in times of need, but they also reminded her one important thing was that power of prayer that would seek her out through her journey to get that story and to bring her home safely. So they were giving her these teachings and these tools she would take along her way. Now in the community there was eagle, and in my language we call eagle Omeasoo. Now you may have noticed that in our culture that we wear eagle feathers, and in our culture that represents it represents our prayers, because the eagle is the most highest flying bird and it carries our prayers to the heavens. So we honor it through our dancing and ceremony, and that's why the eagle feather represents so much in our culture. But also too, eagle Omeasoo also carries wisdom. And so eagle was in the community, and he was an old bird. Omeasoo, we'll call him. And so Omeasoo carried a lot of knowledge, and he's been out on these journeys before, so they wanted to ask some advice. And so they took her to go visit. And so during this journey, he asked what her purpose was, and she said to seek the story of the round dance and to bring it back home to the community. And so he began sharing stories. He began to tell her stories of when he was a young Omeasoo and when he used to go to the round dances. He sings, "Way oh hey hey, way oh hey hey, way oh hi hey oh hey oh, way oh hey hey, way oh hey hey, way oh hi hey oh hey oh hey 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 hey. Way oh way Way-oh, way, way-oh, hi-ya, hey-oh, hey-oh, hey, 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 hey. And she was in awe, and she thanked Omeasoo for the story that she shared. Now moving along ahead, she goes on to her journey. Now off she goes, and she travels down this highway. She said farewell to her parents till she returns with the story again. And then so a day has gone by, maybe another day, and on this journey she's kind of experiencing a lot of different emotions. Emotions like fear, right? She's fear because she's alone, and she's also scared, right? She got frightened a few times from the noises she's heard, from the wind blowing the trees, the leaves, etc., right? She was getting scared because she's never ever left her hometown. But one of the things that she did remember that Omeasoo said is that when you do get scared, is to stay focused, and also to remember our ancestors who have passed on, and to call on to them when you need them, he said. And so what she did was, one of the tools that her parents gave her was a drum and a stick for her journey as she prays, right, for protection on this journey. And then so at that time she did get a bit scared, and it was nighttime, and so she was a bit tired from the day, and she just wanted a place to relax, but at the same time she was really scared, and she also wanted to give up and just go home because she just didn't know what to expect ahead, and what she experienced, she just wasn't happy, right? And then so she remembered what Omeasoo said, and he said, just call on your ancestors and they'll protect you. And then so she looked up in the sky, and she's seen the northern lights, and in our culture, that's what they say about the northern lights, is that they're our ancestors, and that they're there, and to call on to them and they'll protect you, right? And then so this was her song. And that song is called The Northern Lights Are Dancing. Okay, so now she wakes up the next day, and then she realized that where her journey took her was to another place, because by the time the sun came up and she opened her eyes and looked around, the land looked a bit different. Now she was in an area where there was rolling hills rather than the evergreen forest that she was used to in northern Manitoba, right? And then so as she was heading and looking at the rolling hills, she remembered that the message that was sent to her in the letter to seek the story said, when you come down I will be waiting for you in the southwest corner. So when you start seeing the hills, look out in the southwest, I'll be there. Now, who it was that was waiting for her was her relative, and he goes by the name Bisun, which is buffalo, right? And some of you may recognize that we say bison, but in our language we say Bisun. And so another way to say buffalo in our language is Basqua mistus, right? And so she was, as she woke up and seen the rolling hills and seen how everything was different, sure enough, she looked in the southwest and she seen a little figure way out in the distance. And he looked like a buffalo, and it was something that she never seen before because there's no buffaloes in northern Manitoba, but she knew he was a relative and he had a very important story. So she called out to him, Bisun, she said, Asanitagusin. In our language that means Bisun, I am here now. I've arrived. And so just as she called on to him, before she called on to him, she seen a silhouette in the hill. And Bisun is a big brown buffalo, right? And he carries bow and arrow, a bag of bows and an arrow. So what he does is he hunts. He's a hunter. And so just before she called him, there was little prairie chickens running up the hill, and so he looked at them and he was about to shoot them, but before he released his arrow, right, he was holding it, before he released his arrow, that's when Wapos called, and so he put his bow down. And then he started waving at her, and he got excited, and so they ran to each other. And then as they were running to each other through the rolling hills, their excitement grew even more, and they held on to each other, and they hugged each other. And they started dancing. Yo, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, yo, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, yo, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, yo, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, way, And they were excited and they were happy. And they finally said, finally, we're here and we met and we've seen each other. So where's the story? No, I'm just kidding. But they greeted each other. And he asked her, Bisun said to Wapos, did you eat? We should get together. We should replenish. That must have been a hard journey for you. And they caught up. They caught up with one another. They sat by the river. They picked berries. They did all that wonderful stuff. And now was the juicy part, was finding out, well, what is a round dance? And so Bisun took her. They went walking and they were heading to a celebration, it sounded like, because in the distance she can hear the drumming, she can hear the people, she can hear the singing, she can hear the laughing, and she can see in the distance that everybody was enjoying themselves. And then so what she did was they walked together, and then Bisun said, well, the round dance is a place that we come together. We come together in prayer and we honor the ones who have gone before us, and we also dance for the people who can't dance. We also dance for the people who are sick, and we just come together in celebration, and we feast, and we do all sorts of stuff. And so we started getting into the story even more and telling her a bit more detail. But she said, well, we'll wait for horse. Mistatim, she said. He's going to tell you something after we're done the round dance. And then she said, well, how do you round dance? And so what he said was, well, what you do is you get up, you stand on your two legs, and you join hands, and you be a part of the circle, and it's a two-step. It's a two-step dance. And so what you do is you put your feet side to side. So next time you see a round dance, just go ahead and join the circle. Join hands with someone. It's where you come together, right? And you all come in unity in the circle. And so he's telling her more and more and more, and then they went. And then so she went. And so when she went up, she reached out her hands, they made room for her, and she joined, and they all started dancing. Way away, way away, way away, And they danced the night away. So after they danced the night away, it was time for Wapos to meet Mistatim. Now again I said Mistatim is horse in our Cree language. Now Mistatim, a long time ago, came up to northern Manitoba, and he actually participated in the round dance. He actually knew Omeasoo, the one who gave the guidance to Wapos before she came. And so they remembered Omeasoo remembered Mistatim, and Mistatim remembered Omeasoo, right? And then so they told Wapos about the time that Mistatim went to northern Manitoba. And so because he remembered some of the stories and the teachings that were there, he was able to tell her. And Beeson was a relative. And so he knew that that story had to make it back to the community. So that's where he wrote his letter to Wapos. You see, so that's how Wapos was able to seek the story of the round dance, because Mistatim had the teachings that they needed to know so they can have the dance back home. So Wapos says, well, can you tell me how the story went, how the dance went? And so he starts telling her, and then that was the story he shared with her to take back home to the community. Now that album that I tell the story is titled Buffalo and Rabbits, so I'll leave it up to you to find the rest of the story when you download the track, because all the songs on my album are all story titles, so you'll see how it ends when you check it out. But there's a couple more, two more songs that I wanted to share with you before I close off. I wanted to show you the story, because in our culture we have traditions and we have legends that talk about the creation and how things came to be and whatnot, right? And my my grandfather was from Norway House, and his name is Myrtle Scribe, and he told legends of northern Manitoba. And so I wanted to carry on his legacy of storytelling by making Buffalo and Rabbits. And so it's a very important story that I hold close to me, that hopes to inspire the teachings that were passed on to me that I can share with you. The type of singing that I do is called drumming, and there's two types of it. There's traditional drumming, but I do contemporary because I've added in some instruments and do my own type of style of singing. But what I've come to do is mix some of my music with current music, like hip-hop and rock and whatnot. So they're nice experiments that I like to do. So for my next song, what I want to do is I want to bring on my husband, who is a hip-hop artist. And he's a well-known hip-hop artist in Canada. And the song that we want to do is titled My Native People.
My native people, my dear native people, treated second string to the people in charge of them steeples. Religious attributes regurgitated among every reservation to avoid the fact we struggle to be deemed lower class and segregated. Tribes destroyed and separated. Women and children forcibly fornicated. Harper issued an apology on behalf of the white people to whom which he is related. I bet they're feeling vindicated, like saying sorry will wash it all away. Like every sin that was committed against my ancestors can be blamed on the priest having a bad day. Blame it on the error. I don't buy that one bit. Cause the things that I'm speaking on happen still present day life shit. Stories still swept under the rug that colonialism has provided. Youth dying at alarming rates and will never know the joys of buying a car and racking up the mileage. Whose stories stop before they can understand growing up's true meaning. For the ones who will never experience the reality of true feelings. This is for the tribal members watch other tribal members dying, protecting their family from the hate and all the lies, from the elders' pain we will never fully understand until we see it through their eyes. This is for the brothers and sisters who stand fist high on the front lines and were greeted with mace and rubber bullets in the place of handshakes and highs. Water cannons in winter to try put our cold voices on some cold ice. I'm never afraid to walk alone, cause every step is a path that my family can follow. Cause if I don't go first, how can they gauge if the puddle is deep or if it's shallow? The better tomorrow is buried underneath hard work, blood, sweat, and the other. And sometimes you have to separate yourself from the pack. Like head down, focus on music and not a skin color, or even the steps of your past brothers. Stay to yourself, quiet, humble, kept, but also on target. Like the one that's put on your back as soon as you place product on the market. This is for those natives who hate other races, not understanding that whenever they do that, it's reverse racism on everybody that's standing in front of them, man. For the ones who never made it. And I don't mean the big leagues, I mean the ones who froze in the woods trying to get back home to their mom and family. Peace.
Thank you. So that was my husband, Hellnback. Feel free to check that song out too. You will find the music. Just look us up and we're there. But the last song I wanted to share with you is actually something that's going to be released very shortly. So I wanted to be here for the first time that I wanted to perform it. And it's a song. It's about celebrating life. So I wanted to close that off and sing it for you and out there. That's what the lyrics mean. I'm going to be using my language, the Cree language, and yeah, so here it goes. Hi, oh, hey, hi, oh, hey, hey, way, hey, hey, we, hey, hi, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hi, oh, hey, hi, oh, hey, mina wate tat bear mate swing ya hey ya hi oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hi oh hey oh hey ya way hey ya hey we hey ya hi oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hi oh hey mina wate tape mate swing ya hi oh hey oh hey oh. Thank you very much.